So, another soul wanders out of the darkness and into the greater darkness. State your name, little lost one. Your impertinence is understandable, seeing as how you don't know to whom you are speaking. But watch your tongue in the future, because I rarely tolerate people who ignore my commands. You may address me as the ruler of the night. Your pitiful mortal mind cannot comprehend it, but you speak to the most powerful being in the cosmos. State your name. And do not think to disobey me a second time. Good. To answer your earlier question, I am here. You do not realize it, but you see me everywhere that you look. To you, this appears to be some sort of throne room. Yes? Others have told me this. But, in fact, it is part of me. The throne, the room, and the rest of this palace that you find yourself in. They are all me. My anatomy makes little sense to mortals like you, but your tiny, fleshy body makes little sense to me as well. You arrived here because you became lost. In more ways than one. You grew despondent and hopeless, unable to cope with life. One night, you suddenly decided that it was all too much. The darkness outside called to you, and you wandered out into it, not knowing or caring where you would end up. This isn't a question, but a fact. This is the only way for mortals to find their way to me. Only someone who has lost all attachment to their world can leave it and find me. You are mistaken. I will not help or encourage you. You are not here to be served, but to serve me. Immortals are all so similar to each other. The first thing you do when you learn of your fate is to look around for an exit. As though it could possibly be as simple as walking out a door. You heeded the call of the darkness. You came of your own free will. And you did not bother to consider the consequences.
There will be no leaving now that you're here.
You will have many tasks to perform. Some of them simple and mundane, some of them complex and esoteric. But you must perform them to the best of your abilities. Think carefully before you speak, mortal. You can't be begin to understand how powerful I am. You don't want to find out the many ways that I can compel you to follow my commands. You will be much happier if you choose to follow them willingly. You will have help, in a sense. There are many other mortals in my service, though you will never meet any of them. This palace that makes up my body does not follow the physical laws you are familiar with. Each of my servants exists in their own space, parallel to each other, but never intersecting. A few of them are in this room right now, but you cannot see them or touch them. You will only see the results of their work. You may walk into a room and find that it has been cleaned, or see a door closed that you left open. You will never be able to directly observe what they do, but you will see what they did after they leave. Some of my servants have begun to communicate with each other by leaving messages. I do not oppose this, so long as it doesn't interfere with your duties. For many of my servants, these communications are their main source of entertainment. My servants aren't all from your time and place. I am connected to many eras, timelines, and worlds. You may learn a great number of interesting things. Such thoughtless words. Return you home? Why? Have I given you the impression that I like to do favors for people without compensation? What benefit will I see from sending you away? It's not impossible. There have been a small number of mortals who have managed to bargain for their freedom. If they can do it, then so can you. But don't think that you can do so easily, or without following my commands. Now that's a question that sets you apart from the others. For most, their next question would be, why me? You have the sense to ask, why mortals? You're right. I'm immensely powerful. You're barely an insect next to me. So why do I need you? What can you do that I can't? It so happens that, much like you, I have little control over what happens inside of my own body. I cannot clean my own insides or operate the arcane machinery you'll find within me. It is for those tasks that mortals are necessary. Your duties will allow me to do more than I could on my own. In that sense, this is the most important and significant thing that a mortal like you could ever hope to do. For most of you, the consequences of your actions will last a few measly decades within a small little section of your world, but what you do here will have consequences that ripple throughout all time and space. you will matter in a way you never did before. And while we're on the subject, there are more benefits to be had while in my service. My body is now your home, and you have free reign of it, with few restrictions. It's more than you likely could ever have in your place of origin. You will never go hungry, nor will you ever be left in the cold or the heat. And if your service is especially useful, I can offer more. You could have power to bring back with you if you manage to gain your freedom. Great power. Even immortality. And for my most valiant servants, there is a place reserved for them when my goals are accomplished. I have many grand designs, and in them are places of authority for those that I deem most faithful to me. Even the most stubborn of mortals pause at that. You would be very, very wise to consider it. You have plenty of time to consider your options. There is no downside to thinking it over. In the meantime, I have your first command. You will bow to the throne. The throne is one of the most important pieces of me, and it represents my vast power. You are required to bow to it daily as a sign of respect. This is not a time to be stubborn. This is the easiest thing I will ever require of you. It won't reflect well on you if you refuse to do even this small, simple thing. Why, you don't even need to mean it. I will allow you to resent me without repercussions so long as you carry out my orders. Do you understand? Excellent. Well done. I believe that you'll do well here, mortal. Today, that is all that I will ask of you. Wander the halls of your new home if it pleases you. Decide where you will sleep, or discover the messages from my other servants. It does not matter to me. Tomorrow, your work will begin.